And now, the general weather around Alaska.
First today, satellite imagery here, starting here in the southeast coast, strong low pressure area moving northward, making landfall earlier today around Elfin Cove at the front, moving quite rapidly into Canada there. Another band of showers moving into the southern southeast coast, kicking up the rainfall there once again. Winds starting to diminish now from what they were, gusting anywhere from 40 to 65 miles an hour across the area there as this low track northward there, spreading rain up into the eastern North Gulf Coast. Areas of rain here over the eastern interior, light rain from the Alaska Range and south central, or actually the Copper River Basin western areas there, lifting northward with clearing coming in behind that into Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula, Kodiak Island, seeing some clearing as well as Bristol Bay, and fair skies out over the western interior. Some clouds and light snow along the western Arctic coast. Out to the west, big storm coming in to the Bering Sea here. You can see a huge mass of clouds with that, bringing winds gusting to 60 miles an hour at the observing location out there at Shimia, with rain spreading across Adak and the Cirrus Shield, now reaching the Pribilof Islands and the eastern Aleutians, with fair conditions under higher pressure off to the east here with lighter winds. Forecast for tonight, that low center tracks eastward here into the western Bering Sea, and the front continues to drive eastward, being pushed along by strong storm force westerly winds there across the southern Bering and the Aleutians. That'll push rain and wind into the Alaska Peninsula, Pribilof Islands, and by late tonight up toward Nunivak Island. Fair weather over the western part of the state, Kodiak Island, Bristol Bay, northward here into the western Brooks Range. Clouds thickening and lowering Bristol Bay later tonight as that system moves in, especially the mid and higher level clouds. Low pressure in the Gulf of Alaska continues to rotate troughs, showers into the panhandle that'll kind of interact with the terrain and in some cases make for a general rain pattern, but nothing too terribly heavy. Winds definitely lighter there as that original low tracks off well up into the Northwest Territories of Canada. Look for showers here over the eastern interior areas. Should be dry for actually the Palmer Anchorage area across the Kenai Peninsula tonight, hopefully. And look for some snow from the Brooks Range out to the eastern Arctic coast. And also some light snow chances continue again tonight, like you saw last night for the central and western Arctic coast. And then for the day on, Tuesday, tomorrow, this low center moves eastward here, front and strong gale force winds along the southwest coast with rain. That pattern pushes rain into Kodiak Island with strong westerly winds gusting maybe as high as 60, 65 miles an hour with gale and storm warnings out for the Aleutians and across the southern Bering Sea there. Farther to the west, things improve a little bit there. In fact, lighter winds and drying out, just isolated showers from about Amchitka Island westward there, but a lot of wind and precipitation here all the way up to St. Matthew Island. And St. Lawrence Island, kind of in between there, start to see a pickup in the northeast winds a little bit, but not too strong. A trough up here keeps chances of light snow and flurries at times for the central and western Arctic coast, and some mixed precipitation over the northeast interior, mostly the eastern Brooks Range out toward Kaktovik. Dry, mostly clear here, lower Yukon River Valley, break here into the White Mountains, and then some showers possibly north of the Alaska Range there, but not too much. Most of showers tomorrow, again, coming back in, kind of a wet day tomorrow once again here, or at least showery for south central Alaska, especially the Manuska Valley into the Kenai Peninsula and the Chugach Mountain areas into Prince William Sound, but should stay dry down towards Seldovia and Homer. Kamishak Bay, seeing increasing winds in the late afternoon. And then for the Wednesday forecast, we'll see this low actually develops another center. One tracks over Kodiak Island. That happens quite a bit when those things cross the Alaska Peninsula and Aleutian Range there. This one farther back to the west. Otherwise, increasing wind and rain Wednesday for the southeast coast later in the day. Wet and windy conditions return from the Gulf of Alaska, pushing up to the North Gulf Coast into Prince William Sound. Once again, rain chances increase along with some gusty winds across the Kenai Peninsula and Cook Inlet, but the northern part of the state here from northern Copper River Basin, the Alaska Range, on up to the eastern Arctic coast there, dry with some clearing and still a chance of snow with a weak trough, kind of a series of them rotating around an Arctic low there that's a little bit farther to the north, keeps those chances of light snow going for the western Arctic coast, maybe slipping on down into the northern Seward Peninsula. This trough moving southward will bring another round of gusty winds and rain into the Pribilof Island areas, and that'll push down across the eastern Aleutians. You can see on Thursday that drops down into this area here. It's kind of a repeat of what we saw yesterday and last night here over the Alaska Peninsula, with north winds gusting 50 to 55 miles an hour over the western Alaska Peninsula, maybe the eastern Aleutians as well. Numerous showers ridging farther to the north, drying it out with lighter winds there ahead of this system dropping southeastward out of the Russian Far East. That's forecast to drop southeastward right along the southwest coast there for Friday and Friday evening. Otherwise, another trough, southwest flow keeps it wet over the southeast coast, North Gulf Coast, low pressure just south of Resurrection Bay. That means unsettled conditions for south central Alaska, but as I mentioned, pretty good in the interior, light winds and some clearing, and maybe a few flurries along the Arctic coast. Lows for tonight in the lower 30s right through the central part of the state in the Tamau Valley, upper 20s, 25 to 30 for the Kuskokwim Valley, with 20s over the Brooks Range, the northern interior valleys, lower 30s for the Arctic coast, 40s to near 50 for the Panhandle, upper 30s Kodiak Island, south central Alaska, cooling off here, finally into the 30s for the lows, and 40s out west. Highs for tomorrow in the 40s to near 50 for south central Alaska, lower 50s Copper River Basin, and still reaching 61 degrees, at least forecast to for Craig and Klawock, 52 for Kodiak, 40s in the central interior, and 30s to lower 40s for the north slope out to the Arctic coast, and 50s here for the Bering Sea. Lows 20s, some cases teens there in the Brooks Range. That'll be the exception, mostly in the 20s and 30s here over the central and northern part of the state, mostly in the 30s and 40s over the southern areas. And for the highs for Wednesday afternoon, 55 to 60, southern southeast coast, 50 to 55 in the north, as well as the Copper River Basin, 50 to 55, south central Alaska to Kodiak Island, Bristol Bay and the Aleutians, 40s and lower 50s over the central part of the state, and 30s for the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast.